My daughter-in-law threw me out of my own son's birthday party. It happened right here on the ranch my family built long before she ever stepped foot in Montana. People around us heard her say it, neighbors, family, friends. Even the ranch hands paused when her voice cut across the yard, our ranch, our rules. That night changed everything. Before that night, this place held more love than pain for me, even after loss. It was still home. My name is Bleakeroway. I am 62. I grew up on this land, watching my father rise before dawn, and my mother keep the home standing through every harsh winter. When my father died, the ranch came to me, 140 acres of soil, fences, and memories. Later, when my husband passed, it became the place where I raised my son, Aaron. With every bit of strength I had left. For years, it was just the two of us learning how to breathe again. Aaron learned to ride before he learned long division. He learned kindness before confidence. He learned that this land meant responsibility, not ownership. He respected it because he saw how hard his grandfather worked for every blade of grass. But lately, the house has felt different. There is a new voice in it, a sharper one. A voice that talks about renovations, brand potential, and event spaces. A voice that laughs at the history written into these walls as if it were nothing more than outdated decor. I tried to tell myself it was just adjustment, just youth, just enthusiasm. I wanted so badly for harmony that I ignored the shift, the way I was slowly being pushed from rooms I once tended like a heartbeat. And then came the night of Aaron's birthday. The night when silence was no longer possible. Aaron arrived just before sunset, the engine of his old truck echoing across the yard. I wiped my hands on my apron and stepped outside, expecting the familiar grin he always saved for me. Instead, he rushed around to the passenger side and opened the door like he was revealing something precious. Mom, this is Leah. She stepped down carefully, her heels sinking uselessly into the dirt. Clearly not made for ranch soil, she smiled wide. Too wide, reaching for my hand with both of hers. Blee, I've heard so much about you, she said though. Her eyes scanned the porch rail and barn like she was already listing flaws. Charming. The word landed soft but meant small. Aaron's eyes shone. Leah works in Denver. She plans big events, corporate galas, mountain weddings. She's incredible. Oh, stop, she said, nudging him lightly. Then she turned to me. I can already see so much potential here. With the right touches, this ranch could be stunning. I forced a smile. It's home. It's enough for me. Leah looked around again, her gaze pausing on the porch rails, the old barn, the faded paint on the kitchen door. She wasn't judging loudly, but she didn't need to. At dinner, she spoke through most of the meal. I don't know how you live so far from everything. Denver streets are alive. You can feel energy in every block. Aaron laughed. Mom likes peace. Peace is great, she said sweetly. But a little modernization never hurt anyone. When I served the pie, she leaned toward Aaron. Imagine this dining room open concept. Light fixtures, new floors. It would be gorgeous. Aaron smiled with a kind of impressed pride I hadn't seen in him before. I swallowed the lump rising in my throat. I didn't want to ruin his happiness. I didn't want to be the mother who clung too tightly. But as I washed the dishes later, I heard her laughter drifting from the living room, bright, polished, and already filling spaces that never felt empty before. And Aaron. He sounded like a young man stepping into a world I no longer recognized. Leah and Aaron moved into the ranch a few months after their wedding. At first, I tried to make space for them, gave them the larger bedroom, cleared half the pantry, stepped around their new routines, but little by little, the house began to shift in ways I never agreed to. One morning, I walked into the living room and stopped. The old family photos were gone, replaced with framed prints of city skylines. Leah, I said carefully, where are the pictures? She smiled without looking up from her tablet. They didn't match the aesthetic, she said. Clients notice these things. When I tried to move one photo back, she placed her hand gently but firmly on my wrist. Trust me, Blith, I know how to make a space feel modern. Aaron walked in just then, kissing her cheek. She's trying to help. Mom, help. That word kept coming up. A week later, I found mail addressed to Aaron and Leah. Billing contacts updated. Forwarding addresses changed, though the ownership was still legally mine. I asked Aaron about it. Oh, that Leah handled the paperwork. She said it'd be easier for us to manage. I felt a sting, sharp and deep, easier than what the way your grandfather managed it. the way I have for decades. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. Mom, don't make this a thing. She's organizing. Laya entered the kitchen with perfect timing. One day, when it all shifts to us, we'll streamline everything, she said lightly. She laughed as if she'd told a harmless joke. Aaron chuckled with her. I didn't. That night, as I folded laundry in the quiet, I realized the house didn't sound like my home anymore. It was filled with new voices, new decisions, new rules, none of which belonged to me. And for the first time, I wondered what keeping the peace was slowly taking away from me. By the time the sun climbed over the ridge, Laya was already outside directing a team of caterers. White tents lined the yard. Strings of lights tangled through the oak trees, and a live band tested their speakers loud enough to shake the windows. It was Aaron's birthday, but Laya moved through the crowd like it was a gala she'd been hired to run. Set the dessert table over there, she called. And keep the rustic touches subtle. We want a polished feel. I stepped onto the porch with a bowl in my hands. I thought I'd make Aaron's favorite cornbread. He's had it every birthday since he was 5. Laya glanced at the bowl. It's kind blithe, but heavier dishes clash with the carefully planned menu. The vibe, I repeated quietly. Aaron walked over, kissed my cheek. Laya's done a great job. Don't you think? I nodded. It looks big. It's important, she added, touching Aaron's arm. This is our first big event here. People expect something polished. Her word again. I turned back toward the house. Before I reached the door, our neighbor, Mrs. Landry, approached with a wrapped gift. Morning, Blith. Looks like quite the show. Laya told folks the property photographs beautifully since it's their place now. I froze. Their place MRS. Landry hesitated. I'm sure she didn't mean anything by it. You know how she talks. I thanked her and carried the cornbread inside, setting it on the counter where no one else would see it. The house vibrated with strangers' voices. Laughter bouncing off walls that used to hear only family. From the kitchen window, I watched Laya gesture across the land, describing plans, pointing to the barn, the pasture, the line of old fencing my father built 50 years ago. Staff listened like she was giving a tour of a resort she owned. I smoothed the front of my shirt and took a steady breath. I would still attend the party. I would still smile for my son, but every step I took felt like walking deeper into a place that no longer felt like mine. And beneath the music and chatter, a quiet fear settled. I was becoming a guest on the land my father left me. I carried the warm pan of cornbread in both hands as I walked toward the tents. Music swelled, guests laughed, and servers rushed around with trays like we were hosting a festival instead of a birthday. I told myself it didn't matter that no one had asked me to bring anything. Aaron would smile when he tasted it. That was enough. Laya spotted me before I reached the entrance. She stepped directly into my path, her body angled like a barrier. "Ple, hold on," she said, her smile tight. "You weren't on the final guest list." I blinked. "I just want to give Aaron this. It's his favorite." She eyed the pan as if it were something offensive. "We curated the menu carefully. This doesn't fit. And we already have plenty of people inside. It's a controlled event." "Controlled?" I repeated softly. "This is his birthday and our ranch," she added, lowering her voice. "But not enough that people nearby couldn't hear. Our rules, our party. Please don't make this awkward." 2 caterers carrying drink crates slowed behind her, glancing between us. A few guests turned to watch. Someone lifted a phone. I felt my throat tighten. "Laya, I won't stay long. I just want to tell him happy birthday." She looked over her shoulder and flicked her fingers at 2 hired staff. "Can you escort her off the event area? Make sure she gets back to the house." The staff hesitated, unsure. Laya steadied her voice. "She doesn't have clearance for this side of the property today. As if I were a stranger trespassing on land my father and grandfather bled for." One of them stepped closer. "Ma'am, this way, please." The cornbread suddenly felt heavy. I nodded, clutching it to my chest. Whispers rose behind me as I walked, my shoes sinking into the grass. The music felt farther away with every step, swallowed by the dark edge of the yard. Halfway back to the house, I stopped. Through the lights, I could still see Laya smiling, fixing her dress, welcoming another guest like nothing had happened. I kept walking until the music faded completely. I didn't know then that someone had filmed the entire thing, and I didn't know that the video would reach Aaron before the night ended. Inside the tent, Aaron moved from group to group, laughing easily, shaking hands, thanking people for coming. Laya hovered beside him like a spotlight he couldn't step out of. He looked happy, blissfully unaware of what had happened minutes earlier. Then Caleb Jensen, one of his old school friends, pushed through the crowd toward him. Aaron, man, you need to see this, Aaron frowned. Can it wait? I'm trying to know, Caleb said quietly. It really can't. He held out his phone. On the screen, crystal clear, was Laya blocking my path. Her voice carried over the music. You weren't on the guest list, our ranch, our rules, and then my face trying to hold itself together, trying not to break. Aaron's smile slowly collapsed. What is this? Caleb swallowed. I recorded it because I couldn't believe she actually blocked your mom like that. Aaron shook his head hard. There has to be some misunderstanding. Mom wouldn't just walk away. Caleb kept his voice low. She didn't walk away. Aaron, she was pushed out. Aaron went pale. He glanced toward the entrance, toward Laya, then back at the phone. His hands trembled. She forced my mother to leave on her own birthday on our family ranch. Go find her, Caleb said. Aaron left the tent without a word outside. The music dimmed into a distant thrum. He scanned the property until he spotted me near the old barn, bent over a hose as if checking the water lines. I heard his footsteps and straightened quickly. Mom, he breathed. Why are you out here alone? I just needed some air, I said lightly. The party's loud tonight. He stepped closer. Don't do that. Don't pretend. I saw what happened. My heart clenched. It's fine, Aaron. Really? Laya just wants things a certain way. I didn't want to cause trouble. He heard the tremor I tried to hide. Mom, this isn't the first time. Is it? I looked away. Silence said what I didn't want him to hear. Aaron exhaled shakily, anger and guilt rising in his voice. I should have paid attention. I should have seen it. The barn light flickered behind us. The night thick with everything we hadn't said for months. He stood beside me for a long moment, shoulders tight, jaw set, the truth finally settling into place. And when he turned back toward the tent, he wasn't the same son who'd walked out of it. Aaron walked back toward the party with a steady, furious calm I had never seen in him. I followed at a distance, unsure whether to stop him or let him move toward whatever truth he needed to face. The music thumped through the ground like a heartbeat, but as soon as he stepped inside the tent, he lifted a hand toward the band. Stop. The guitarist froze mid-chord. Conversations fell away. Aaron reached for the microphone on the stand. Lila, he said, his voice carrying through the tent. Come here. She approached slowly, confusion tightening her features. Honey, what's going on? You're scaring people. I want everyone to see something, he said. He nodded to Caleb, who stood near the projector screen. The slideshow that had been looping birthday photos blinked out, replaced by the paused image of Laya blocking me at the entrance. Laya's smile cracked. Aaron, what are you doing? He ignored her, pressing play. Her voice filled the tent. Sharp, cold, unmistakable. You weren't on the guest list. Our ranch, our rules, guests murmured, shifting uncomfortably. Several watched Laya instead of the screen. Laya stepped toward Aaron, voice sweetening in panic. Your mom said she didn't feel well. I was just trying to keep the event running smoothly. Aaron stared at her. That's not what happened. She's been critical of me since day one. Laya insisted louder now. I've tried to make this place better. But she fights every idea. This place, Aaron said evenly, belongs to my mother. It's in her name, not mine, not yours. And she's not a problem to manage. Laya's face twisted. So, you're choosing her over your own wife. I'm choosing truth. Aaron said, I'm choosing respect. Anyone who humiliates my mother doesn't belong in this home. I stood near the entrance, trembling. The room felt split open. Aaron turned toward me, voice steady, but full of everything he'd been holding back. Mom, he said. This ends tonight. Laya spun to look at me, then back at him. Realizing something had shifted, she couldn't pull back with charm or excuses. The mask she'd worn so carefully began to crumble under the weight of the truth playing behind her, and nothing about the party felt like celebration anymore. The tent emptied fast after the video. Guests drifted out in stiff silence, offering tight nods as they passed me. No one knew where to look. No one wanted to be caught taking sides. By the time Aaron and I reached the house, the music was gone and the night felt strangely hollow. Laya was already inside pacing the living room. Aaron, you embarrassed me in front of everyone, she said, voice trembling. You didn't even let me explain. You explained, he said calmly. I heard every word. She rushed to him, grabbing his arm. Your mom twisted this. She's never liked me. You know that? Aaron pulled his arm free. This has nothing to do with my mother liking you. It has to do with how you treated her. Lia's tone sharpened. So what now? You're taking her side. You're choosing her over your own wife. I'm choosing decency, he said. And right now that means you need to pack your things. She stared at him as if he'd spoken another language. Pack. You can't be serious. You need to pack and leave tonight. He said, his tone leaving no room for argument. He said. Lia's breath hitched. This is our home. No, he said quietly. This is my mother's ranch. You don't get to use it as a shield. She switched tactics fast. Fine. Then I'll take half of everything. I'll go to court. You have no claim legally. The ranch is in her name, and all our shared investments are recorded under mine. Her face contorted. You sound just like her. That woman controls you. I stayed silent. This was his moment, not mine. Aaron stepped back. I've booked a motel for you for the next few nights. You'll have space to figure out your next steps, but you're leaving tonight. Lia shook with anger, scanning the room as if waiting for something to save her. Nothing did. She grabbed her suitcase and stumped down the hall, throwing one last line over her shoulder. You'll regret choosing her. Aaron didn't answer. The front door slammed, leaving only the echo of everything we'd almost lost. The house felt unnaturally still once Ila's car disappeared down the road. The rental lights outside flickered out one by one, and the tents sagged in the dark like remnants of a celebration that never belonged to us. I made coffee without thinking, the way I always had when I set a mug in front of Aaron. He rubbed his hands over his face and let out a long unsteady breath. Mom, I'm sorry, he said. Not just for tonight, for everything I didn't see. For everything I didn't want to see. I sat across from him. I didn't tell you enough. I admitted. I kept quiet because I was scared saying anything would push you away. His eyes shined. You should never have had to choose between honesty and me. I know, I whispered. We sat in the soft hum of the kitchen, the clock ticking like it finally had room to breathe. Aaron straightened. From now on, things will be different. I want to protect this place properly. Legal steps, paperwork. Whatever it takes, and I want to protect us, too. You and me. Hearing him say it loosened something tight inside me. Then we'll do it together. He nodded calmer now, grounded in a way I hadn't seen in years. You're more than the mother who holds everything together. You shouldn't have to endure to be valued. I reached for his hand. And you don't need to stay blind to be happy. The night settled around us. Not heavy anymore. Just honest. If you were in my place, what would you protect? First, your home, your pride, or your family? Share your thoughts below. Like, comment or subscribe to share your